Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here, guys, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 70 for Wednesday, September 12th, 2018. How the hell are you guys? Welcome, onesies. I will be talking about some movies this week. I did some activations, which is the fancy term for all those tastings and samplings and, all that brand ambassador stuff that I do. It's all called activation, so I'll use that term going forward. But I did some activations this week. I bought a storage locker, too. That's a thing I did last week. Give you guys some updates on the Los Angeles trip. I'll talk about all that stuff, so let's get right into it. As always, it is Tuesday when I'm recording this. And as soon as this podcast is done being recorded, I got to get my ass out the door because I'm going to do a spot at Absolute Comedy tonight, working on that new material, right? Got to be grinding, keeping out there, getting things going. So last week, guys, I watched a reasonable amount of movies. I did a reasonable amount of dog fucking last week. Not a whole lot, right? And for anyone who's, from another part of the world that's like dog fuck, you guys fucks dogs, I am tuning out of this podcast right now. It is a Canadian term for doing nothing, screwing around, wasting time. I didn't do a ton of it, but certainly more than I'm used to doing. Last Wednesday, I don't think I did much. Like, I'll have days where I do a bunch of little 5-10 minute micro tasks, right? Clean this, move that, organize that, put that away, find somewhere for that. And, I did a reasonable amount of that last week. I finished a game, Unraveled, I was telling you guys about. Nice little side scroller, little puzzles. Oh my God, that was so much fun. I had a great time and very cinematic, that game, Lots of visuals, very well done. I had a great time playing that game, Unraveled, for any of my people who like games. And then I watched the movie Sicario, which means hitman or assassin in the Latin areas. Oh, there we go. I got my watch is going off again. Right before I started this, I was like, I'm not getting my notifications. It's bothering me. And then bing, bing, they'll start coming in during the podcast. Careful what you wish for. Sicario, right? Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Emily Blunt. The second one, I guess, came out recently, and Jason wanted to watch it. And he said, you watch the first one. If you want to watch this one with me, watch the first one. So I watched Sicario, and, this is old news for some of you, right? You've seen that movie. It's 2015. Well, I watched it, and it had some, some interesting scenes. But I basically it's a movie about how, this part of the government or not part of the government. It's mostly just these two guys, right? Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin, and they're trying to shake things up in the, the Mexican cartel world and the drug trafficking and this and that. And really, the movie didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. I mean, aspects, but not really not a whole lot of sense for this simple old guy. So really, it just looked like a bunch of scenes, with these guys are bad guys and these guys are bad guys. I really, I wasn't left with a lot in the movie. Sometimes you watch a movie and you're not left with a lot from it. I didn't dislike it. I was watching the whole way through, but I really didn't think it was super compelling or anything like that. It looked like, a few guys who did whatever it takes to find their man. They're trying to find this big cartel guy. And looks like they break a lot of rules. And of course, Emily Blunt is the person from the FBI, and she's trying to follow the rules, and she doesn't quite know what's going on. And of course, every step of the way, she learns it's a little more than what she thought it was, and it's more than what she thought it was. And there's so many layers to this onion. How deep does it go? And then, you guys are all crazy. She's the one whose ethics just can't break. But how far would someone go before they break? Like whatever it is. It's on Netflix, guys. Sicario. I would love it if someone else was compelled. Jason thought it was one of the greatest movies. Obviously, enough people did that they felt the need to make a sequel. I haven't seen the sequel yet. And I would still watch it, but I didn't love it. Wasn't in love with it. So that's what I spent and I actually did very rarely will I put a movie on and just watch the whole fucking thing. Whilst doing nothing else. I usually am doing something else at home while I'm watching a movie. But yeah, this one I just sat and I watched, and hey, maybe that's the thing. Maybe I can't just enjoy something if I was sitting down watching it doing nothing, Maybe I have to feel productive. Maybe I didn't like it because I wasn't being productive while watching it. Who knows? All I know is Sicario, guys. Feel free to let me know what you thought of that movie. I didn't think there's anything particularly crazy about it. It was well acted and stuff, just nothing fancy. It was a lot of like dick swinging. You know what I mean? I'm the fucking man. No, you're the fuck. Not you're the fucking man. No, that wasn't that level. But just like I'm the fucking man. I'm the fucking man. I'm the fucking man. Like a lot of just really dude posturing. You know. Yeah, and I really at no point did I root for any of the characters. You know what I mean? I didn't really connect with any of them, and I never really rooted for any of them. I think that's part of the thing. You know, I kept thinking like, wow, is Josh Brolin going to end up being like a good guy? And, you know, he's really trying to make it, or is it just like, you know, it seemed honestly like they were just trying to settle a score for Benicio del Toro, you know? Didn't really seem like there was a whole lot of, you know, we're doing this for the greater good. It was more just like, he's got a vendetta out against this guy. We gotta fucking get him. Regardless. I missed Ubering Thursday morning too, because I was drinking while watching Sicario. Yeah. Some people might be like, oh, maybe that's why you had a hard time understanding what was going on. You were drunk. I was not drunk. I was sipping on a Chardonnay over the course of the evening. And I think I just was up late watching it after Sicario. I don't even remember if I put something else on, but I missed Uber Thursday morning. I've been struggling a lot with my getting up properly on time. And one of the big reasons is because my meds, my anti, what do you call them? Fucking antihistamines. You know, taking a Benadryl. I've started taking Benadryls before I go to bed because that way I can actually sleep through the night. I don't wake up 100 times with the itchy throat. But then I just don't wake up, and my alarm will go off once, and I seem to be able to, you know, put it on for, you know, give me another 20, 30 minutes to really sleep off the heavy feeling, the grogginess, and then anyways that day I just turned around and I woke up of my own free will at 10 to 10, which is when all the rush of the morning is over. And I was like, for fuck's sake. So missed Uber on Thursday. And I don't know what lit the fire underneath me, but I was like, you know what? I think I want to go check out some storage locker places. There's a great storage place here in Ottawa. I'll name them when they pay me. But I went to go check out some of the little locker options they have because I am a roommate here. I've mentioned many times that I have multiple roommates. And while I do a very good job of maximizing the space I have, lots of storage options, it does get a bit daunting to have everything that you own sort of, you know, in your place at the time. And it makes it actually difficult for me to move things around. I actually constantly end up unpacking things to get at something else and moving stuff around. Difficult to explain my room visually, but I basically have my large queen size bed. I have a big desk that I do all my work at. I've got tons of shelving on the walls for all of, you know, my DK books and my Uncle John's bathroom readers, not to mention all my other stuff. All my travel stuff was here too, guys. So like I have a carrier for Chase, my dog, in case he ever, you know, is on a train or plane with me. I have about 3 or 4 different sized luggages for different purposes in my room, not to mention just a ton of other stuff. All my tax shit I've been talking to you guys about. Tons and tons of stuff that while I don't use all the time. I even had I'm a big Christmas guy. And that's not to say I'm a fucking fat Santa Claus fuck. What I'm trying to say is, during the holiday season, I like to get into the whole gift wrapping thing, whatever. So I actually have a ton of, you know, gift wrap rolls, not a ton, enough to take up fucking floor space. Let's put it that way. But a bunch of, gift wrap rolls and bows and shit like that were just taking up some of the space that I had. So I decided, you know what, maybe for, you know, a few bucks a month, I can actually just get a storage locker. Some of the ones that I were looking at were like tiny little, I want to say like they look like the morgue where they got all those fucking doors and you open it up and slide out a corpse. Like that's what it looked like in the wall, like these little 2x2 boxes. And I figured that would probably be perfect just for my tax stuff to free up a big shelf with all my different tax binders and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'll throw my tax shit into storage, maybe a few other things. So I went there and I looked and I poked around at a few different sizes and I actually ended up going with like a full-size storage locker. It cost me like $50 a month, but it was, you know, 2.5 feet deep by 5 feet wide, and, you know, all the way up, probably 6, 7 feet tall, maybe even 8 feet tall on the inside. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take this, right? If I got little 2x2 by 2, I think it is deep, it would have cost me like, you know, 30 or something like that or whatever. So I was like, you know what? For less than double the price, I'm going to get like 10 times the space, you know, if not more. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So signed up for the storage locker. I went out to Costco and I bought like a simple little plastic stackable rack, shelf, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And yeah, I came back. I threw that into the storage locker, built it up real quick, and Bob's your uncle. So didn't move anything until later in the week, but I was like, there, I got some storage. I got a place where I can put things, you know, my travel stuff, my boxes. I actually keep a lot of, whenever I buy electronics, I keep the boxes just in case there's ever an issue or you got to send it back with warranty or prove the serial number, whatever. I keep all that shit just in case. A lot of things too. I buy a lot of shit at Costco, guys. I buy a lot of shit at Costco, and Costco's got a good return policy on electronics, right? So if I buy something, and usually, you know, within a year, if there's anything wrong with it, you can take it back. So I keep the boxes for that just in case. Got to bring something back or exchange it. So, but again, all of this stuff adds up when you're keeping boxes and everything like that. It adds up. You got to find a place for it. And so yeah, that's what I did. Storage locker was the solution. Maybe I'll take a picture and post it at some point. It's nothing special, but I love it. There's so much space, you know, even my tools. Cause I got a nice set of power tools and things like that I purchased. And again, a house with guys, and especially Jason and I, we both shop at Costco a lot, and Jason has no memory of what's his and what's mine. So I do have to squirrel a lot of my stuff away in my room. Because if I left it out somewhere, it would get taken to a job or it would get moved to the club because, I thought this was mine. And then before you know it, someone's used it, broke it, or I don't know where it is or where it's been put. So you guys with the, them family lives, things like that, you don't have to worry about, but roommates and shit coming in and taking your stuff. But I do know people who are like, oh yeah, my dad will borrow shit and, never bring it back, or someone will borrow it and break it, or whatever. So you know how it is when you got to take care of your shit, especially with me. I don't buy a lot of expensive stuff in terms of, tools and things like that. So I got to take care of the ones that I got. So tools and shit like that in the storage. Oh, so happy, guys. I really have to tell you, I'm over the moon. I'm obviously more excited about buying a storage locker than I was watching Sicario. All right. So, yeah, that was, I feel great. There's so much more room in my room now to actually move some things up on the shelves, and not everything's just, I was playing fucking Tetris, guys. I really was, with so many different things that I had. But yeah, so very, very happy about that. I went to go see The Nun on Thursday. That's right. That scary ass movie from the Conjuring universe. I took the old mother unit to go see that, scare the shit out of her. I don't know if you guys are big fans of horror movies. I've mentioned before that I am. But as always, you got to see some bad horror movies before you get to some good ones, right? And I got to tell you, it was creepy, but I will tell you this, the nun from The Conjuring 2, which is what this movie is based on, was a lot creepier and scarier in that movie, in The Conjuring 2. This movie is good. It's going to give you some jump scares. There really are some very creepy moments, but the titular character, the nun, is actually not in it a whole heck of a lot. In fact, it ends up being scares that are, other forms, creepy scenes where, shit pops out at you that's not, they're almost trying to introduce new characters, because that's what they did, right? The nun was supposed to be just this creepy character from The Conjuring 2 that scared people, but, so popular, like, yeah, let's give her own movie. Now they've introduced other little things into it and whatnot that you might see coming up in their own movies later on, whatever. But I don't know. Long story short, very creepy. I would have to say, of all of the movies in the Conjuring universe, it is the least creepy. The absolute least creepy. And yeah, so there's my review. It's hard for me to talk about movies with no spoilers, but they do what they do in the other Conjuring movies, where they try to tie it all back together, how everything that happens in this is completely connected to the other one. Instead of just being like, hey, here's a story about the nun from beforehand, they link everything together with the main story from Ed and Lorraine Warren and Annabelle and all that, so they link it all back together. But yeah, it's it might be time to put this Conjuring story pony out to pasture kind of thing. That's not quite the strength of the story. Like, even Annabelle Creation was actually particularly creepy, but it really didn't have this feel like, hey, this is all part of that same story that we got invested in. And again, I apologize for anyone who's not a horror movie fan who's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'll move forward. I'll move on. But definitely, I would say if you haven't seen the Conjuring movies, the first one I don't know if is currently on Netflix, at least in Canada, but the second one is. I don't know if you need to really see the first one to be able to appreciate the second one, but that's a creepy movie. A lot of things going on in that. That is very, very creepy. And you know what? It'll give you a taste of whether or not you want to see The Nun, because you see it and you go, okay, this nun character is in there and it's creepy. Let's have some fun with it. So feel free to check out The Conjuring 2 on Netflix. I don't know if either of the Annabelle movies is on there. But if you like to scare yourself, these are half decent. And The Nun is still creepy, right? Like I've told you guys before, my philosophy on movies is if I go see a comedy, it makes me laugh, good comedy. If I go see a horror movie and it makes me, jump or scared, I feel like I gotta cover my eyes, it's a good horror movie, scary, some scary shit. But, I'd say, but the only time I will complain if a movie doesn't have, it's same with action, right? Good action movie, who gives a fuck what the story is, right? Mission Impossible Fallout is a stupid fucking story, but amazing action in it. Amazing action. The only ones that I bitch about if they're not good are dramas. If a drama is supposed to be, drama is supposed to be about the fucking story. If there's no story or it's stupid, fuck that drama. Anywho. What else? Did I do anything fun Friday? I did an LCBO sampling. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Oh, I was away out in Canada. Yeah, nothing to write home about in that one. What else? I went to, on Friday was my brother's birthday. So again, happy, I don't say belated because I got it ahead of time last week. I was ahead of the ball, but again, my brother's birthday was on Friday. I went over to his house for a little bit and, played some board games, him, his wife, my mother. My dad came later on and I left. And then what did I do? Did I do anything interesting at all? Like you guys are sitting there. What else, Josh? What else? You didn't give a fuck, right? I barely gave a shit about this week. I did play some more video games. I still haven't finished Grand Theft Auto 5. And again, won't make this all about video games, but I've been definitely dicking around this week. Didn't play a lot either. Just came home, maybe an hour. It was like an hour. I'm like, I can't go to bed. Not quite tired enough to go to bed yet, but I can't get myself into anything big. So I jumped on Grand Theft Auto and I went around shooting things up and had a good time. I think it's partially because I'm excited for my Los Angeles trip, right? Grand Theft Auto, I know is a game. It's just, you lose hours and hours and hours into, but it takes place in Los Santos, which is their version of Los Angeles. There's a lot of very big landmarks from Los Angeles in it that they've replicated. So I just went down to the old Vespucci Beach, which is supposed to be Venice Beach. And I started shooting people and driving away on boats. Whatever. It's a goofy game. If you don't know what Grand Theft Auto is at all, that's fine. It's just one of those things where you can live out every male fantasy and not get in trouble for it. It's the last place. It is the opposite of the Me Too movement in many, many different ways. It's basically the opposite. You think of everything a social justice warrior would say or want or anything like that and be like, all right, Grand Theft Auto is completely the opposite of that. Everything's a joke. Nothing's taken seriously. What a magical place to go and just be a fucking guy. I did a Canadian Tire promo on Saturday. Yes, I did. An activation for the Ottawa Senators. That was a fun day because here's what the promo was. We were basically promoting Fan Fest. So here in Ottawa, where I live, we have a hockey team, the Ottawa Senators, and next week, or this week, the 16th, I believe is a Sunday or Saturday, who knows. It's Fan Fest. So everyone goes to the Canadian Tire Center where the Senators play, and you get to bring your kids. They can have their face painted. There's all sorts of games and activities. There's a Q&A for players. You get some autographs, pictures, whatever. Big day for people to go and connect with the fans and the players. $10 a ticket, not a big deal, right? Go there, have some fun, support your team. Who gives a shit, right? There are $10 each a ticket, which is not that much. And like the first 900 people who bought tickets to FanFest would get a pair of tickets to the Ottawa Senators Montreal Canadiens exhibition game, right? So you think $10 a ticket to go and, go to FanFest. But even if you're not interested in FanFest, I was like $10 for a pair of tickets, or maybe it's a ticket. But even when you pay $20, you get a pair of tickets to go see Ottawa play Montreal. That's a fun game. Even though it's exhibition, who gives a shit? But you get to go see a hockey game, see two, big teams compete. That seemed like a good deal to me. So me and this other kid I'd never worked with before, Max, a young fella, pilot, as a matter of fact, little commercial flying guy, 20 years old, pilot, worked for I think WestJet and also Porter. I apologize. Porter and Sunwing. Good dude. I got a chance to hang out with him during the day. So we were talking to people about hockey, and then when it calmed down a little bit, we would just chat with each other, shoot the shit. And he was a very funny kid. In the sense that he's a young dude. He was chatting with me about how he's got a girlfriend right now that he absolutely despises. And I mean like absolutely despises, which makes no sense to me. My first thing is like, well, dude, if you hate her, don't be with her. Break up with her. Be honest, get out of the relationship because right, this is what he said to me. I swear to God, it was so fucking funny. And this, like, I didn't know when I was that age. Like sometimes when you're young, you say silly fucking things. But even when I was that age, I didn't know anybody who would have said this or anyone who would have done this. And I knew guys that were fucking, that were a little bit users. They were a little bit players, whatever. This is what he says to me. And I swear, I laughed so hard internally. He goes, yeah, well, you know what? It's hot out right now and my place doesn't have air conditioning and she's got fucking central air or whatever. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you hate this person, but you won't break up with them because they've got air conditioning. And this summer he's like, yeah, and her house, she lives, close to my work. And if I was living at my house, it would be so much fucking, farther to get to work every day. And I was like, are you kidding me? He goes, yeah. I go, you're staying with this girl only because I go, you can't do that. You can't stay with her because of where she lives. He goes, yeah, man, it's like, the relationship sucks, but location. I'm like, dude, that's not a relationship reason. Location is not a reason to be in a relationship. Long distance relationship, then the location thing becomes a real thing. That's because you can't be together. It's hard to be together. You don't want to fucking, you don't date someone. You go, excuse me, where do you live? I work here and I'm looking for a person whose proximity to my workplace, but don't get me wrong. There are people whose fucking dating profiles are that stupid. I actually, you know what? I was talking about the LCBO sampling. I go, nothing to write home about. Here's the thing. I don't use the dating apps very much. I'm on the market, so I got to put myself out there. Got to put myself on the old people Craigslist, little Kijiji for human beings. My stupid face is on there. And every now and again, very rarely, I will match with somebody who I go, you know what? I might actually like to talk to this person, And there was this one person who matched with me and they were like, hello, Josh. And I was like, oh, cool. I messaged them back and then I didn't hear from them for 2 days. And I don't mean we messaged the first time and I didn't hear from them 2 days. I mean, they're like, hey, Josh. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then nothing for 2 days. Like, oh, hey, sorry, I was busy and I didn't get a chance to. I was like, whatever. So I started chatting with this person and they were pretty cool. I was chatting with them while I was supposed to be giving away samples. But I still did my job, but in between I was messaging and we were having a nice little conversation for probably, I would say about 30 minutes. And then I remember, in her profile, it said looking for a tall guy, blah, blah, blah. And so I had messaged saying, hey, just for the record, I'm 5'9", and you said you're looking for a tall guy, so I have no idea what tall is to you, but just thought I'd be like, hey, here's my height, in case that's a deal breaker. And she's like, well, I really appreciate you being upfront. Yeah, unfortunately, I only like to date guys as tall as me or taller, and still did not proceed to tell me her height. And I go, okay, well, that's, nothing wrong with knowing what you want or whatever. And she's like, yeah, unfortunately, it's the curse of the Amazon. I'm destined to be alone until I find. And I go, well, yeah, I didn't get a chat. I didn't mouth off. Why mouth off when somebody's that thick? But I was just like, that's a stupid. I get that people are allowed to want what they want, and they really are. Honestly, at the end of the day, you're totally allowed to want what you want. But the idea that we were having such a good conversation and we were getting along very, very well, and then it's like, oh, sorry, if you were 3 inches taller. Because I said, I don't have an issue. You'd think a guy would be like, oh, I don't want to date a chick who's, taller than me. She would make me look small. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't have those kind of insecurities or whatever. I don't give a shit. If you're happy with somebody, you're happy with somebody. But I figured it was just kind of funny because she's like, oh, I'm so cursed. Not able to find anybody. It's the curse of the Amazon, And I was like, that to me, that's a pretty superficial thing. Again, trying not to be judgmental, but you're like, really? Like you're going to, and we had such a great conversation. She was like, oh, good luck out there. Like, I really hope you find, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure you'll end up with somebody. Like just try, am I a bumble breaking up with someone already? Like just over the course of the conversation, it was odd. I really can't say that I'm overly disappointed because, to be honest with you, I would much rather know that than I wouldn't want to be with someone for a few months and they're like, oh, I just can't get over how not as tall as me you are. I mean, I love everything else about you, but the fact that you're not as tall as me really gets under my skin. So I don't know. I mean, hey, that's why I hate these fucking dating apps too, because a lot of times there was like, I've basically this person and one other person I was chatting with in recent. Sometimes I match with someone and then you send them a message. The next day they'll send you a message. The next day you send them a message. I'm like, this is not. I would never want to talk to someone. I would never want to meet somebody just this way. So stupid. Now, at what point do you go like, hey, this sucks? Just sending one or two messages. Would you like to have a conversation on the phone or meet sometime and we'll see if there's anything there? Because this is really stupid, And again, you don't want to like, I don't know. I like this. I like just talking and never really going anywhere. I was just looking for attention anyways. I'm projecting maybe, but I don't know. It's just, don't you guys think that's fucking stupid? Like, how do you turn a pen pal into just, oh, hey, by the way, maybe we should meet or something. And then how do you go back to that text shit? I've never been good at texting. Small talk, small text, whatever the fuck. It's really boring. And to me, it's a lot of work. And maybe that sounds ridiculous to some of you, but the trying to be, cute and cool, like there's no tone or anything in it, So the idea that you could just sit there and be like, oh, hey, what's going on? How are you? I don't know. It's fake. It feels so fake, synthetic. You know what I mean? Disingenuous. I don't know. I really don't enjoy it. I've deleted the apps a few times, and then every now and again I go like, well, I'm not really out that much. I should probably find a way to meet people. Long story short is, it was cool to talk with someone and be like, oh, this conversation is actually kind of fun. And then for it to be that, and like I said, the other person I'm chatting with on a different app, it's like I haven't messaged them in a few days because I really can't even think of what to say. I kind of just want to be like, hey, do you want to get together sometime? Like, do you want to actually just see if we enjoy each other's company? Because text messaging is stupid. Whatever. I've bitched about this long enough. You get my point, is that it's weird. I've got people that I know. Kamar, long time ago, used to be particularly active on these things. And he's good with it. He's, for some reason, he's very good at communicating via these dating apps or whatever. Face to face, he's garbage. Regular conversation, he's fucking atrocious. But the guy's a fucking Don Juan de text message, yeah, I don't know. What can I say? Max is going way off fucking topic. This Max kid's like, yeah, I dating this girl because of her location, where she lives. That was a real long fucking walk away. I went from that. I'm like, what the hell was I talking about? So I just told him, like, look, dude, you gotta break them. You can't use people. You can't fucking, yeah, she got AC and she lives close to my work, so that's why I'm with her. So we chatted with him. He's a good kid. He was telling me all sorts of different stuff. Like I said, he flies. It's funny too, because on his Instagram, he was showing me some of the pictures of the planes and stuff that he was flying. And then there would be like a picture of the chick. I'm like, oh, is that the girl? He's like, ugh, fucking hate her. Ugh, she's horrible. I'm like, dude, that's so toxic. You got to get out of this relationship. If seeing her face just ruins your day. And that's what he's saying. He's like, I hate her. I hate being around her. It's the worst. He's like, her roommates all hate me. I'm like, dude, Max, if you're listening, get the fuck out of that relationship. What do you guys think? Anyone want to email in? Give their 2 cents? And he's actually like a smart kid. He was actually a really nice kid. Like that's the thing. He didn't have this like fuck everybody entitled whatever attitude to him. He was a good kid. He was very, very nice, friendly, kind. But I guess he fucking hates where he lives and hates the summertime. Now the weather's cooling down. Get out of it. He's like 3 months too. He's like, I've been in the relationship for like 3 months. Met her on a dating app, get out, Max. What a terrible thing. Get out. I also spent my Saturday evening. So here's what I did with my Saturday evening. After the activation, I went to run just a couple small little errands, and I got some felt. So the wine racks that I've been building, They're really cool design, just in terms of the simplicity. You know, it's basically sharp metal like slats in between wood. Just a metal on metal cross, piece of wood pounded down on it. Oh, easy peasy. But the metal slats, when you slide a bottle into the rack space, those metal slats scratch the shit out of the labels. So if you're going to pull it out of the rack, it like scratches the shit out of the label of the wine. So makes it look all shitty, right? Again, doesn't change the taste of the wine, of course not. But if someone's trying something like, oh, what is that? They're like, oh, I'd love to read it and tell you the name, but it's been scratched right the fuck off the bottle. So I bought this adhesive felt stuff and was just cutting it to put it onto to the bars of the wine racks, just to avoid that scratchy issue that I was having. And I proceeded to do that to a wine rack. So just putting felt on it. That took me a while. But while I was doing that, I watched some movies and television. I watched a movie called The Resort. It is about a resort that people go to and hunt zombies. That's the thing. Zombies took over the world, and then the world fought back, and there's only one part of the world that still has zombies, and it's this fucking island. And people pay to go to the island to shoot zombies and this and that. So picture Jurassic Park, only instead of in the enclosures, it's zombies. And just like Jurassic Park, any predictions, anyone? Oh, everything goes to hell, and the zombies get out, and now you're running for your life from zombies in this fucking island. All right? Movie was absolute garbage. It was stupid. There was so much ridiculousness in that entire fucking movie. Luckily, like I said, I don't even know. I can't even tell, like, well, yeah, I guess it's a half decent, like, fucking B horror movie. If you like cheesy acting and no rhyme or reason and absolutely no investment in any of the characters, great fucking movie to check out. The Resort on Netflix. After that, I started watching Orange is the New Black. I am in the 6th season of that now, which is, I guess, the most recent season. I'm enjoying it a lot more than the 5th. One of the things that I had noticed, I probably said before when I started watching the 5th season, was that Orange is the New Black, great show. Really, I gotta say, it started off season 1, 2, a lot of fun, even season 3. Then they got to a point where everything was a fucking joke. Every character became absolutely ridiculously stupid. I think it started in the 3rd season, when Suzanne wrote this, like, strange erotica that was going around the prison. You know, because there was issues and stuff like that. Women were trying to find ways to make money, different cliques. Like there was a regular, like, hey, it's minimum security, but there's still some stress and still some, you know, hierarchies and pecking orders and things like that. Then Suzanne, Crazy Eyes, writes this erotica sex space thing that goes around there. And all of a sudden, every one of them's, you know, talking about it and talking about another silly thing. And before you know it, like every scene is silly and goofy in the movie, in the series. You know, gets to this point where just everything is a fucking joke. And not only are all the inmates silly and stupid needlessly and saying dumb, you know, Ricky-esque quotes from fucking Trailer Park Boys, but then all of a sudden the guards, you know, it was great. It was great when they had one guard, Luchek, I think, whatever is his name, when there was like one guard who was like a fucking goofball dipshit, you know? And then it became all the guards were silly and stupid and, you know, inept and all this stuff. And it was just like everybody on the show is a fucking joke. You know? And so it didn't become this series where it's like, oh, wow, there's real risks and consequences and stuff. It's like, no, it's just going to be a stupid show where people are cracking wise. So I think that, you know, at some point it got back to them that people didn't like the show and they weren't taking it seriously. So 6th season, they are now in maximum security and shit is getting real. And there's, you know, there's, you can see that there's consequences and stuff again, and it's not everything is just a fucking joke all the time. So, I enjoyed watching that. Sunday I did an LCBO sampling, but I did it, closer to town here. I did it at my pals at the old South Keys location. That was fun. I came home and packed up the storage locker. So came back, got all the boxes, things like that, organized some shit, you know, just doing productive tasks. And I think that was about it. I actually ended up bought a second wine rack, built that, put the felt on it. I'm trying to think of what I watched that time. Been watching all sorts of different things, right? Because when I do the tastings, I told you guys I'm downloading movies and stuff. One of the things that I watched, I believe I watched this after the Resort, was a documentary called Peculiar Pets. That's a fucking interesting one. That's where there's like different people. Most of them were like in the UK where they have like wacky fucking pets in their house. Like a lot of them would have like a serval. So like big fucking cats. One person had a lynx in their house. Another woman had like a full grown fucking wolf and like a big ass fucking wolf in her house. She had a whole pack of wolves, but the only the biggest one did she actually let in the house. And it was a big fucking boy. One person had a monitor lizard in his house. Somebody else has a Komodo dragon. I'll let you watch. It won't spoil anything, but it was like one guy, and you could see too, dirty motherfucker, dirty man. All of his fucking clothes are filthy. He lets the monitor lizard piss and shit in the house. Oh, it's his area. He comes over and marks it. He says, oh, this is my area here. And he's like, oh, Harry, don't walk in it. And you see the Komodo or the monitor lizard walking through the shit and tracking it around that. Oh, come here. It's like a monitor lizard is like a small Komodo dragon, by the way. But the whole fucking thing, you're like, what is wrong with these fucking people? He has like a croc in his house too. What else has he got? It's like one group of people. Then another group of people have, like I said, the monitor. They had like one person had a serval, one person had a lynx, one guy had a Komodo dragon, somebody else had fucking wolf. Like it's an interesting called Peculiar Pets, but an hour-long documentary. It isn't overly what do you say, like intellectual, or informative is probably the word I was looking for. So you watch it, it's interesting, but it's more like a show that you'd see on Discovery, a silly little goofy, Animal Planet episode of something than it is like documentary. So just in case it's like I'm scaring you off with the term documentary, I would use that term very, very loosely. But still interesting enough to see people keeping like fucking animals that can kill them in their house. So I watched that. I watched Peculiar Pets. I did yesterday. Jay and I started watching this show called Magic for Humans. Have you guys heard of that? Some guy named Jordan something, Justin Willman, Jordan Willman. Anyways, called Magic for Humans. It's on Netflix. Super cool. It's very much like David Blaine's Street Magic and Chris Angel type shit, but super inexplicable. As a matter of fact, it wasn't until like one of the late episodes that we were watching where he referenced to him getting married to his wife and how they did magic for like their first dance. When they were on the dance floor, they did magic and stuff. And I think actually I recognized the video instantly because when Crystal and I were together, I think she saw it and showed me the couple doing magic and stuff for their first dance. Like this really dance, really like basically one of them levitates backwards and stuff like that, removes the chair and they're levitating. Like it was very, very cool. Very sweet. So, Magic for Humans, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you guys haven't seen that, holy shit, is it ever cool. We're not talking like silly little card tricks and stuff. Like the shit you're looking at it. If you've watched Penn and Teller Fool Us, which is a good show, he was probably on there. But yeah, like even the Penn and Teller Fool Us, you can sort of see how some of the tricks are being done, just in the sense that like if you've ever watched I think this is actually Penn and Teller Fool Us was on Netflix, and I think that what's it called? Breaking the Code: Magic Secrets Revealed. That's an old show, but it's basically one that shows you sort of how magic tricks are done. So once you have an idea of how some magic shit is done, you could watch Penn and Teller Fool Us, and you'd sort of get an idea of how some of the tricks are done. This guy from Magic for Humans, you can't even begin to understand how the fuck he did some of these. Like to the point where he's got a drone, like he'll walk up to people on the street and a drone's coming down and hovering beside him, just with a box suspended from it. The box is just hanging down from the drone, and it's like, a regular sized box, let's say big enough to hold a, collection of books or something in it. And he'll be like, hey, so, they got these drones that are supposed to be dropping us, deliveries now. Like, is there anything that you like to buy off the internet? And they're like, anything you need to buy off the internet? He goes, I need like an LED bulb actually right now. And he's like, oh, cool. And he snaps his fingers and the box falls from the drone and he passes them. The box opens up and it's a fucking LED light in it. Like Not like, hey, would you like some flowers? Wouldn't it be great if we could order flowers from the internet? And then it's like whatever he said would be in it already. That's like, no, whatever they said would be in the fucking box. Like one girl was like, I want flowers. And the dad's like, I need batteries. And then open the box. It was a fucking bouquet of flowers and a box of batteries. Like unbelievable. So no more spoilers. I don't even give any of that shit away, but it's like you're looking at it going, how the fuck is this possible? Like whatever. Magic for Humans. Jay and I watched the whole goddamn thing yesterday. We watched 2 episodes earlier in the day. I did some work. He did some work. And then we went out for drinks. That's right. We went out for some fucking drinks and we were going to go to the casino, but we did a couple little errands first. I went to the bank to get some of my cash converted to American for my Los Angeles trip. And, and Jay was just doing some clip stuff, but we were together and one of the banks we were going to was closed. So we ended up waiting for rush hour traffic to calm down. We went to a bar near the bank and we just sat there for like an hour playing Yahtzee on his phone for money or for drinks, I should say. Ended up having a few drinks. Then we went to the casino, gambled there, had dinner. I tell you, Jay is a fucking degenerate gambler. You fucking degenerate gambling piece of shit. Anyways, I can't even begin to tell you guys how much money Jay will drop in a casino. Jason will drop I'll go in and I'll watch him drop $3,000 and win nothing. He's like, oh, well, that was fun. Like I cannot count on all my fingers and toes how many times I have gone to the casino with him, and that's been the case. But we went and luckily we got a free meal out of it, right? I mean, you pay $3,000 for a buffet meal. It's not too shabby. But we went to the buffet there, and I swear to God, great meal. Honestly, I had a great time. But this is one thing I have to tell you guys about. It was very, very quiet there. So I asked one of the chef guys there, who was very uncouth, nice, but just had a fucking mouth like a sailor on him. And I was like, hey, buddy, can I get a slice of the ham? He's like, you want a piece of this ham? I go, yeah, if you don't mind. He goes, yeah, here you go, buddy. Sorry for the wait. And he slices, and we're talking, this is a giant fucking ham hock. Giant ham. I would say 8 inches high, easy, 10 inches across. Huge. He cuts this thing 1.5 inches thick across the entire thing, and then just picks up this slab of ham and drops it on my plate. It looked like something someone would have served someone on the Flintstones. It covered my entire plate. Okay? A regular dinner plate. This thing drops it on there like a Frisbee, 1.5 inches thick. It was a fucking ham steak. Bring it back to the table. Jason's like, what the fuck? I go, I shouldn't eat this. This is too much fucking food for one human being. So I cut it in half, gave Jay half of it. And I was like, this is an irresponsible amount of meat to serve to another human being, especially one that looks like me. I'm like, this guy needs like a smart serve, but for fucking meat consumption. Like you can give someone there's gotta be some fucking rule against that. It's like me going to a bar and I'm serving me 5 fucking pitchers of beer. You look like you can handle it. You know? Thanks for the vote of confidence, but I'd like to live. So that was I thought that was hysterical. But yeah, so we went out, we had the drinks, we had the fucking gambling, we had the dinner, came back, we watched the rest of these fucking Magic for Humans things. And I gotta say, it was great. Absolutely great. So yeah, I had a tough time getting up this morning. And I gotta say, congratulations out of nowhere. Just a quick little shifting gears. My good friend Jimmy called me very, relatively late last night to just say that their newest is on the way. And this morning, 5 o'clock, my buddy Jimmy and his lovely wife Alex gave birth to their second child, their first little girl, Arizona James. So welcome to the world, Arizona James. And I know that my lovely friend Mika, what a weird thing to call him, my good buddy Mika, him and his wife are expecting theirs soon too. But I don't think I'll announce theirs. They're a little more private about it. Right, to each his own. Just I know Mika's a listener of the podcast, so I just for what it's worth, guys, in case some of you listening are like, why don't you tell us about Mika's babies and stuff? I'm like, oh, because it's none of your fucking business. That's why. No, they are more private about it. So I just wanted to say big congratulations to Jimmy and Alex. Super happy for them. They got a boy and a girl. Now fucking stop. And yeah, so I'm excited for them. Super, super excited. And then today, just the regular shit. I went out and I drove Uber. I actually had a cool conversation with somebody, one of my my passengers today. We had a good time chatting about, what was it? Was it today? It wasn't today. Can't be today. I think it was yesterday. But we chatted about like movies and stuff like that too. And they were suggesting a horror movie called Would You Rather. She was saying how she's okay with gore. I was telling her about Bone Tomahawk. I'm pretty damn sure I told you guys. I almost wrote it down in my notes to talk about it, but I'm pretty damn sure I told you guys. A super upsetting, gory movie, Bone Tomahawk. And she's like, yeah, she's like, that stuff doesn't really bother me that much. Like, she's like, I can handle gore. And then she suggested Would You Rather? And I'm like, isn't that the one where there's like a fucking razor blade next to an eyeball? And you're giving people fucked up choices. And she's like, yeah. And I go, if I watch that, do I have to watch somebody's eyeball get razor bladed? And she's like, you might. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. But yeah, so I'm watching too many movies, guys. I watched The Fighter. That one I actually didn't mind. I kind of like that one. That was a drama, right? So well done. It's Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale. And it's a movie about two brothers growing up in Boston. Well, what is it? I think it was Lowell, Massachusetts. I think it was called. But yeah, they're both boxers. Brother is a former boxer struggling with crack, and the younger brother seems to be like I don't want to say the black sheep, but everybody loves the bigger brother because of his accolades. But the younger brother's actually making a name for himself too. And yeah, it's a good flick. It's a drama, I would not call it an action by any means. It's a drama. It's a well done drama. Everyone does their job. Probably of all the movies I saw this week, that was the one I liked the most. Also older, right? Hey guys, I gotta do something while I'm sitting around handing out samples, right? So while I was at the place on Sunday, I watched a good portion of The Fighter. So that's what I thought. Are you guys watching anything good? Anything fun? Send me your goddamn, contact theonemanpodcast.com. Tell me what you're watching. Tell me what you're reading. Tell me what you're into. What stories are compelling you right now? What's got you going on? I'm begging you every week, guys. It's been a while since I've had an email, to be honest with you. I would love to hear from some of you. Let me know what's going on with you guys. I'm super excited for what's coming up this week. I've got some fun things. I'm looking forward to my spot at the show tonight. I better fucking wrap up the old mouth running because I'm gonna have to get to that real soon. I wanted to ask you guys, I'm thinking about getting some promo stuff for the podcast. And by that, I mean, like, I'm looking at getting some mugs, some One Man Podcast, coffee mugs or whatever. It's going to be really hard for me to get them out to people, only because, they're heavy and shipping heavy stuff costs. So I'm more than happy to pick up the mugs, and I'd love to send them to people, but the only thing I would charge, of course, is the shipping just to get them out. So I don't know. I guess what I'm kind of wondering is what kind of fun stuff, I appreciate you guys are listening, and I love the fact that you listen to the podcast. What kind of like One Man Podcast sort of swag would you guys be interested in? Because I thought about getting mugs are the number one thing I'd like to get. Just for when I've got guests and stuff like that, it'd be cool to give them a mug while we're sitting, we drink out of it, some nice little promo pictures and stuff like that. And it's something that people would use when they're at home, right? Now, the second thing I thought was, because of the fact that I know a lot of you do listen to the One Man Podcast while you're traveling, I thought about travel mugs. Again, travel mugs, not much cheaper, not usually a lot lighter. And here's the thing too, guys, whatever I get, I'm not going to go on the cheap. When I first started making t-shirts, I would get like those Gildan t-shirts, 100% cotton. It's the kind of shirts you get every time you do something for free or volunteer, and they go, here, throw on the shirt, and it feels shitty, and you'd never wear it again because it doesn't breathe well and it's not comfortable, right? But those are the shirts that, you pay $2, $3 for each, and then, another few bucks to put your logo on, it's cheap enough to get a bunch made. So I learned that lesson early on, is that if you're going to make something for people to wear, it's got to be comfortable. And so I went with American Apparel for all of the Hilarious Bastard shirts that I did. It was one of the shows I did a while back. And those are much more comfortable. Good shirts, people actually wear them. So whatever I decide to do, just, before I give some more examples, is I'm going to make sure that whatever it is of quality, because it's not of interest to me. I don't want to get mugs done if they're just shitty mugs. Everyone's like, oh, go to Vistaprint or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you can get really basic bad stuff that no one's really going to like. It might start peeling after you wash it or whatever it is. So for the record, whatever, you can get really shitty travel mugs. I wouldn't be doing that. If I was to get travel mugs made, they'd be quality. It's the same thing. I thought about getting hats done, but, any Flex Fit or whatever hats, might not be, super good quality. I got to find them. So I want to know, would you guys be interested in One Man Podcast hats, One Man Podcast toques, travel mugs, or regular coffee cups? Anything that you guys think would be of interest, feel free to email. But if you want to just send me a message on Facebook or text or any of those things that you guys, have contacts with me, anything at all, let me know if there's actually anything that you'd be interested in, because I'm going to sit down with my team at DAC One that does all like my manufacturing and stuff for me. Not like, hey, my sweatshop. No, but just every now and again, I'll go to them for the stuff that I work on. But I would love to get some One Man Podcast sort of swag made, but I want it to be stuff that people are actually going to give a shit about and use. So I'd love to know from you guys. You guys want mugs? That's what I'm interested in. I'd like to get some mugs made, but, realistically, I know you guys are all over North America. It could be like, $20 or $30 to ship you a fucking mug. So if you're not interested in a mug, it may cost you that much to get one. Let me know. Toques would be fucking a lot easier to ship, because I can just stick them in an envelope, send them your way. They'll fit through a mail slot, right? But hats, travel mugs, none of that shit is. I'm not going to make fucking pens or lanyards or anything like that. So I don't know. Yeah, that was just the thing I was thinking of, and I didn't want to go. I got excited. I was actually going to go to DAC One today and look at the mugs and stuff again. But I'm like, you know what? Before I do that, A, I got to take shipping costs into consideration, and B, I have to know if you guys even give a fuck or want them, right? So I digress. Yeah, good times. I think in terms of, like I told you guys, to give you an update on Los Angeles. I have spoken with a very reasonable amount of my comedian friends out there, and a lot of them have, said, hey, I can get you on here. Make sure you remind me on this date and I'll get you in. I can get you on this show. Just check back with me at this time. I've got some email addresses for the bookers of the clubs out there. So I got to send them emails. Tried to do that today when I was getting my car detailed, but I was stuck at a Tim Hortons, and the Wi-Fi at Tim Hortons won't allow you to load anything. I think there's like 3 websites that you can actually use while you're on their Wi-Fi. Everything else, like even my email, I couldn't get my email because it was unsecured or some shit. So I wasn't able to send any emails, wasn't able to get any emails, wasn't able to do any of the work that I needed to do. But that's definitely on my list of shit to get done tomorrow, aka today that you're listening to it, or whatever. Whenever you're listening, you could be listening to it 6 months after this fucking thing is aired. Who knows? But that's the stuff that I'm working on right now. So yeah, that was my week. I'm super excited again. A lot of little small tasks out of the way, so that now I can focus on, more of the work. And I know that sounds like something I say all the time, but I got to tell you, this storage locker, freeing up my room, making it easier for me to move around and get to things. I've actually been able to get down to business and tasks a lot simpler, because it's almost like moving one thing out of the way. You know what it's like is that those little fucking puzzle games, it's got like the little tic-tac-toe style grid, and it's only one hole, and you got to slide this piece over here so you can slide that piece over there and slide it, trying to solve the puzzle. That's what it's like moving around in my fucking room all the time. I always have shit that I need to get to, but I got to move this here, this, that. It just slows me the fuck down. And it also honestly makes you feel kind of cramped. That book, Less, from my partners at DK about minimalism, they talk a lot about that. Is about just having a ton of shit in your space can make you feel overwhelmed, because you're constantly seeing things, and they're, reminding you of tasks and reminding you things. So to have a clear, more empty space makes you feel just a little less tight and stressed and things like that. So, yeah, I feel great about getting that done. And, the on to greener pastures in terms of just being able to move around and get shit done. I'm really looking forward to that. Moving on, we got, it's time for our partners at portablepress.com, Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. And I figured, since the hockey season is getting kicked off, why not talk a little bit about hockey? So I picked articles from Uncle John's Bathroom Reader, Shoots and Scores this week. The article is called The Numbers Game. So hockey players often choose their jersey numbers for a reason. Number 99, Joe Lamb. In the years before NHL expansion, the most exalted jersey number was probably number 9, since 3 of the era's greatest scorers wore the digit: Rocket Richard, Gordie Howe, and Bobby Hull. Called up in 1977 by the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario Hockey League, 16-year-old Wayne Gretzky wanted to wear the number 9 in honor of his childhood hero, Howe. But the number was taken.
So young Gretzky settled on 99 instead, a choice that gave birth to what is now the most famous and revered number in the game. But Gretzky was not the first NHLer to wear the unusual jersey number. The original number 99 belonged to Joe Lamb, an unspectacular but respectable forward who played for 7 teams over 11 seasons. He wore a variety of jersey numbers during his career, but was assigned number 99 for his 1934 to 35 tour with the Montreal Canadiens. Hockey historians have suggested that the Canadiens may have used number 99 as a practice jersey that eventually made a few appearances in games on the backs of journeyman players, starting with Lamb. After he left the team, 2 other Habs, Dessay Rocher and Leo Bourgeot, also wore the number. In all, only 5 NHL players other than Gretzky have worn number 99, but no one else ever will. The number was retired league-wide after Gretzky retired from playing in 1999. So how funny is that too? Dude retires in 99 as well. That's obviously got to not be a fucking coincidence. Steve Hines. Steve Hines deserves his place in the annals of hockey as the man behind what is perhaps the most clever jersey number selected in NHL history. He originally wore number 45 as a rookie for the Boston Bruins and then number 23 in his next 8 seasons. But when he became a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2000, he just couldn't resist having a little fun and chose a number that made him the only NHL player to have the name of a condiment emblazoned on his back. Heinz 57. Number 68, Jaromir Jagr. A native of what is now the Czech Republic, Pittsburgh Penguin Jaromir Jagr chose his jersey number in honor of the Prague Spring Rebellion of 1968, which led to significant political reform and liberalization in his home country, then called Czechoslovakia. Apparently, when Jagr was drafted in 1990, it marked the first time a Czech player attended the NHL entry draft without having to defect. Number 66, Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux's agent Bob Burno suggested number 66 as a playful inversion of the famous 99. Lemieux first wore 66 in the Quebec Junior League as a member of the Laval Voisins, voisins meaning neighbors, and kept it for the rest of his illustrious career. The Penguins retired the number, and out of respect, it hasn't been worn by an NHL player since Lemieux retired in 2006. But it's not league-wide. The Penguins retired it, and no one else has done it. Okay, number 11, Gilbert Perreault, or Gilbert Perreault. 1970, the Buffalo Sabres and Vancouver Canucks joined the NHL as expansion clubs. To help them get off to a good start, the league granted them the first 2 spots in the draft. Which team selected first was determined by the spin of a roulette wheel. If the ball landed on a number between 1 and 8, the Canucks would get first pick. If it landed on a number between 9 and 16, the Sabres would select first. The ball landed on 11, and the Sabres chose Gilbert Perreault, the cream of the junior hockey crop that year. In celebration of this lucky spin, Buffalo GM Punch Imlach, his name is Punch, gave Perreault jersey number 11. And finally, number 49, Joe Juneau. Joe Juneau. All through his junior days, Joe Juneau wore number 9, but the Boston Bruins drafted him in 1988, and they'd already retired the number. It was worn by Bruin great Johnny Buchik. Undeterred, Juneau had the chutzpah. I've never seen it spelled before. He had the chutzpah, Chutzpah, to ask Buchik if he could bring 9 out of retirement. Buchik agreed if Juneau was willing to hand over his 6-figure signing bonus. Juneau opted for a less expensive solution. He chose 49 instead, a tribute to 2 Boston Bruin legends, Bobby Orr, number 4, and Johnny Buchik, and his coveted at number 9. Yeah. All right, guys, and that is, what the fuck was this called? A numbers game. A numbers game from Shoots and Scores by my partners, PortablePress.com, Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. Yeah, that's the thing we got there, guys. My other partners at Absolute Comedy, I want to give you guys just a little piece of info there that I will be performing. So all my Toronto listeners, I will be performing at the JFL 42 Festival shows occurring at Absolute Comedy on September 25th and 26th. You can go to Josh Williams on my Facebook, so my Facebook page, not my personal page, but my Facebook page. And you can click on the link for those events. So those events are on there, 25th and 26th, or you can go to absolutecomedy.ca for the Toronto Club and buy tickets for that week. Hosted by my good buddy, Jeff McKay, who will be there all week. I am there the 25th and the 26th in Toronto. And then I am back here at my home club, Absolute Comedy in Ottawa, from September 27th to the 30th. So Thursday through Sunday here in Ottawa of this month, the 27th of September. You can get tickets still at absolutecomedy.ca. That's for the Ottawa Club. Toronto Club, the 25th and 26th. The Ottawa Club, the 27th and the 30th. So please feel free to go to absolutecomedy.ca and get some tickets to come see your boy when he is in your town. Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America, with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America.
The sun gives life to the orchard. The orchard gives life to the apple. The apple gives life to Somersby. Somersby is a delicious sweet taste of sunshine, imported across the ocean, all the way from Denmark. The people in Denmark are smarter, and so are you, if you drink Somersby. With flavors like apple, blackberry, pear, elderflower lime, red rhubarb, and a taste as regal as this fake accent, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And now you can try them all in the Somersby Mixer Pack, available wherever fine beverages are sold. So go on and try for yourself the crisp, refreshing taste of Somersby. Your taste buds deserve it. Please drink resplendently.
And who am I forgetting? I'm not forgetting them at all. My partners at DK, Dorling Kindersley. Guys, this week I do not have a book to review. My buddy at DK has been on vacation. I just chatted with him this week, so he's actually sending me another big heap and helping of DK books, of which I'm very, very excited to be receiving. They got a bunch of new stuff coming out this month, and not all of it is going to be fucking, eating and yoga related. There's actually some really cool books they got coming out. I'm not sure which exactly ones he's sending. I sent him a list of some of the stuff I'm interested in, and we'll see what comes in my old gift box. But they got a ton of new stuff coming out this fall. Some of the stuff I'm super excited for. Yeah, I won't get into it because it'll drive you guys crazy, and I gotta get the fuck out of here. But there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out of DK. So check out DK.com in the States, DK.com/CA here in Canada, or just, DK Books, Google it. If you're somewhere else in the world, they got a lot of really cool stuff on the, in the pipelines. There's two really cool books that I really hope are coming. One of them is Art, the Definitive Visual Guide. I saw that in stores, and holy shit, is it ever gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Another one, Writers, Their Works and Lives. So it's all about different writers and what their lives were and things like that. They have a really cool inventions book from the Smithsonian series, really cool astronomy one that I'm excited to check out. One's just called Battles That Changed History. So going back to like ancient history battles, some World War stuff. Very, very cool. Of course, DK is known for their imagery, right? So, they have amazing books with lots of cool, interesting. There's other stuff coming out there too. They got a wine book coming out called Good, Better, Best coming out in a few months. That one I really got to get my hands on. The more interested I get in wine and trying to, just maybe talk to other people about wine. It's a great book that basically will give you different levels of, different suggestions for wines specifically, based on what kind of wine you want. So like, let's say you want like a Chardonnay, it'll tell you like a good one. And then the bottle is right there, the image of it, the company, and then they'll have like a better, so slightly more expensive, a little more, better notes to it. And then best. And it's all within like a price range, right? So it's basically like, what are you looking to spend? What are you this? Well, here's what we suggest. Boom, boom, boom. Nice picture of the bottle. So you just go right into your regular, your local liquor store and go, bam, I need this. And as always, it's got facts, visuals, all sorts of important shit for you. Tons of like, and again, I just thought finish saying I wasn't going to get into it, and I get all excited. I get all excited for my DK stuff, guys. I got a problem there. Slap my arm and hook my fucking, give me my goddamn book fix. So, yeah, I'm excited. Next couple of days, I'll receive a shipment of books, and I'll fucking jump right into those bastards. Maybe that's why I fucked around so much this week, because I didn't have a book to read. You know, that's all it is. I'm gonna blame them. I'm kidding, of course. I love those guys. So thank you to all my partners, guys. This week coming up, lots of Uber driving, more activations, and that's kind of all I have on the calendar. This is one of the quietest weeks that I've got. Tomorrow I'm doing an activation at a movie theater for a nut company called Central Roast. They got all sorts of cool stuff. I did a conference call with them today, so I'm very, very excited for that. We're doing the premiere here in Ottawa for the movie A Simple Favor, starring Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. So I basically show up, I fucking hand out peanuts like I'm working at a goddamn baseball game. Get your peanuts here, no charge, peanuts, and and then I sit down and I watch the movie. And then at the end of the movie, I go, peanuts, get your peanuts and get the fuck out of here. Peanuts, get your peanuts. Get the fuck out with your peanuts. And then that's my night. I'm going to go see a movie and get paid to go see a movie. How about that shit, eh? I don't have it that bad. You know, some weeks I complain, but life is a pretty sweet fruit, right? So I'm doing that. All sorts of fun stuff. And as always, I'm sure a bunch of shit will happen between then and now. Hopefully one of those things that'll happen is I'll hear from you guys at contact@onemanpodcast.com. I would love to hear from you. What's going on with you guys? How are your goals and lives going? What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What do you know? What do you say? You know? So that'd be cool, guys. Please check out my sponsors, portablepress.com, absolutecomedy.ca, summersby and dk.com/ca. And of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all at One Man Podcast. Search One Man Podcast, because the only one that isn't is fucking Twitter. God, I hate Twitter for that. There's a guy who has at One Man Podcast who has not, he basically created the account 10 years ago, tweeted 5 things in one day, and then that's it. And nothing has happened. He's just basically squatting on the name. So I'm at One Man Pod on Twitter, but you can just go to any of them. You search One Man Podcast. We're coming up right away. So looking forward to, you know what? It saves me a couple characters. It saves me 4 fucking characters every time I tag myself in a tweet. So how about that? So anyways, follow us on there, because I do post things, little extra tidbits, little extra things for you guys to see. So I'm excited. I'm always excited to have you guys, follow in there too, because I'm doing stories. I posted me and Jay gambling and getting drunk last night. I should have posted a fucking picture of the goddamn ham steak. That's what I should have done. Fuck. I can't even take a picture of it now. I've already cacawed it. All right. Turned it into a mud monkey. Flushed it. That's gross. Sorry. All I'm saying is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You get a little extra bonus stuff. I will not take pictures of my poo and send it. I promise. And please subscribe on iTunes or Google Play Music or onemanpodcast.com. We'd love to have you guys. If you just happen to be listening to this on Facebook somehow, you can get it on your device, and it's free to download. You listen to it at your leisure. You don't have to get stuck next to your computer. Do it however you like. And then, of course, all of you guys who are already, subscribers, whatever, please give me a 5-star review and feel free to write something. It would be fantastic. I'd love to hear from you. It makes the podcast more popular. I appreciate the fact you guys are out there, right? I love you very much. Hope you have a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Do lots of things I wouldn't do, like work hard and contribute to society. But shy of that, I am off to Absolute Comedy to talk about how horrible I am at dating apps and see if I can make this comedy dream come true. Talk to you guys next week. Take care.